What is up, rockers of the Rock Nation? This is your fellow rocker, ex-rocker Manix, here back with another video. And if you can tell by the title, it's on Season 5, Episode 4, Slabtown of The Walking Dead. And before I continue with anything, let me just say that AMC and DirecTV are having problems with each other, I guess, trying to keep a deal. So, if this Walking Dead review series ends with an abrupt turn, then I apologize for it, even though it's not my fault. And especially if you guys enjoy my Walking Dead review videos, and like I said, I apologize because AMC and apparently DirecTV are having problems again, and God knows what's going to happen to AMC. Simple as that. And the sad thing is, I love The Walking Dead, so pretty much this review series will be cut off hold until probably the season gets put on Netflix, if anything happens to AMC and DirecTV's partnership. But hopefully it doesn't. I continue watching Walking Dead regularly on Sundays, and I continue making these videos for you guys. So there you go. But now, also, down in the description below, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter or like my Facebook page, the links are in the description down below. Or if you guys want to his channel, after you watch this video, if you enjoy it, like, comment, subscribe to it if you want to. Do one to three, two to three, all three. I don't give a shit. Just enjoy my videos. Do whatever you want. But on to the review. Now, this episode of The Walking Dead, you see that Atlanta, now that they're back in it, or they're not back in it, but Beth is in it, and we finally found out what happened to Beth. And even I seen the previews for it, and that was shocked me. So my thoughts about the spoiler that happened to Beth didn't come true for me, and I'm happy about that. So, but you find Beth in a hospital in Atlanta. And here we see Atlanta's completely destroyed. And we finally actually found out how she technically got there, too. And who picked her up as well. Because apparently Dawn, I think it was the main officer, or some of her officers, found her being attacked by walkers, and if it wasn't for them, she probably would have died. And I don't think that was possible, because I'm pretty sure Daryl would have got to her before anything happened to her. But the black car, and this is my possibility on a black car, is basically an unmarked police cruiser, basically. Undercover. That's what I can figure, because really, who would want to drive a cop car, technically, in the apocalypse? That would just get for disaster. But here we find the hospital with Beth being alive. And before I go any in depth with everything, let me just say I will break down the good guys and bad guys at the end of this. And I'm sorry if this is shorter than usual, because to me there wasn't that much to talk about. But here in this hospital, we basically find another group of survivors. And the food, you can pretty much tell that in this stage of the apocalypse, you basically have to live off anything you can find. Especially when it's guinea pig. And that really says something, food-wise, when you're eating cooked guinea pig. I wonder, sadly though, I kind of also wonder how cooked guinea pig tastes. Don't criticize me on that, people, but that's kind of interesting if you ask me. I am in no way a cannibal. And the hospital, but here though, with the hospital in general, you wonder how these people survived so long, really. Especially with people on the EKGs and stuff like that in the hospital, where is their electricity coming from? And I'm pretty sure they have a generator, but if they can't, but since they're in the city, I mean, I understand there's probably an unlimited supply of cars with gas still in them, especially using gas generators. And I know a hospital would also have backup generators. But you kind of wonder how they got their electricity. That's really all I can say of that. It's just kind of interesting to me on that. And in this one, I actually felt sorry for Beth for the most part. And not because of all the things throughout the show, but because of this one part right here. This one girl, I'm not trying to be racist, people, but the black girl. Or at least I think she was black. I'm not trying to sound racist, but that's just how I am, because I didn't catch her name. Gina or something? I forget her name. That might have been it, Gina. But she basically has to get her arm cut off. And from what I know, pretty much, yeah, Gina, or whatever the fuck this girl's name is, has to get her arm. She ends up getting her arm cut off. And Beth being there, she basically was mostly traumatized by it because, to me, that relived the memory of seeing her father or knowing the fact that her father, or most people want to call him Herschel, may he rest in peace, one of the best characters in the show by far, but sadly he had to die. But this basically was traumatizing, in my opinion, for Beth because it made her relive the fact that her father had to get his leg cut off, aka Herschel, and that's just upsetting if you ask me. Especially, even if it's a complete stranger that you don't know, that would still be traumatized, especially if you know someone who had to get amputated during the apocalypse. Well, and honestly, Beth is, to me, a strong-willed girl. She can pretty much survive on her own, if she has to. And right now is actually what she's proving, to be honest, so... But then, here comes to the end of the episode. You find out that Carol was, I want to say captured, but I don't know if that's the technical term, what you would say. Because she did look beat up and all that. But what I find funny next episode, as I said on Talking Dead, Chris Hardwick, I think that's his name. I'm sorry to Talking Dead and Walking Dead fans, but I don't remember his name. Like he said, I'd actually laugh if Carol would just be like with her guns, which I highly doubt, and just be like, "Surprise, motherfuckers!" or something like that. That'd be actually hilarious. But I doubt that'll happen, but that would be hilarious. But also, here's the thing though, with Carol being with Beth now in the hospital back in Atlanta, you wonder how she got there, but you also wonder Daryl, because in the last episode, other than this one, Daryl was like, "Come on out," or whatever he exactly said. So it makes you wonder who's with them. Is it Beth with them, or is Morgan with them? 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty sure we won't find out, since the next episode shows, I think, more Abraham and his group with Maggie and Glenn and Tara, so might not find out for a couple episodes. But you kind of still want to know, though, who's with Daryl. Now it's not Carol. Did Carol somehow die? And now Beth is with him? Or did he somehow stumble upon Morgan? And I really want to see where this is going with that, too. And now, this is really the last thing I want to talk about in this episode, sadly. I hate that it's not a long one for you guys, but you know, I can probably go longer, but... This one really is a break. This thing's really a breakdown between the good guys and the bad guys. And this is just my opinion to you guys. You guys might have your own, but there you go. But the good guys to me is the Doctor, which is, I didn't catch his name, so I'm sorry for that. And Noah, which is the black guy, or as most people would call him, Tyler James Williams. And if you guys don't know him, he actually played Chris in Everybody Hates Chris, and he played in a few other shows as well. Beth, obvious. And the girl that had her arm cut off. And actually, the first one I want to talk about is the girl who had her arm cut off. Because really, in my opinion, I think, they might have said on Talking Dead, but I don't remember, but I think the girl had her arm cut off correlated more with Lee, probably. Or probably Lee, since I know Lee, the comic books revolve more on Lee, not really. Well, no, Rick was in the comic books, so never mind. I thought he was. Never mind. I don't know. But my point being, though, is, what I was trying to say, though, is the fact that it is, though, I don't know if anyone in the comics had to have their arm cut off. Maybe Lee is in the comics, so I think he was. But also, he's in the game for Walking Dead. And in my opinion, though, the girl getting her arm cut off correlates spawns more with Lee in the game. And it might have happened in the comics, not for sure, but of course you know what happened to Bob, too, so. And that's really kind of says... It's weird because it seems like this season there's an asphyxiation with amputations happening. Because first, of course, Herschel got his leg cut off in the 3rd season, I think, if I remember right. Then, of course, Bob gets amputated for the cannibals. And then, of course, that. So, and then, of course, you know, the girl. And I turned to a zombie and killed the cops. Thank God he killed at least one of the cops. So I can't stand the cops. And Beth, you already know that she's a good person because, or to me, she's a good person. Basically, bound to slavery. That's a horrible. Oh, indentured servitude. That's a better way of putting it. But now Noah, or Tyler James Williams, whatever you want to call him being in the show was actually a shocker to me. I was like, when I first saw him, like, wait, is that who I think that is? And it actually was when afterwards. And you could easily tell by the voice too if you know him from playing other stuff. But you can obviously tell he's a good guy in the wrong place, basically. Especially with the cops being in Georgia, they're racist bastards. If you ask me, the cops were, especially beating them. That really said. I mean, I'm glad they didn't show it on camera. Thank God. But that is pretty ridiculous by the cops. That's really racist if you ask me. And then you have the doctor. Really, the doctor to me is a good guy because he wants to take care, because he helps take care of Beth. Of course, it's his job to be a doctor, to take care of other patients. But to me, it seems like he has a more keen eye for Beth because he actually told Beth his background story and stuff like that. The only real thing that would lean him, though, to being a bad guy would be the fact that, for the most part, I'm pretty from what I can figure and from what I show, even though no offense, I really wasn't paying attention to the night show because I was busy I was like multitasking. But overall, I did watch it, and I rewatched it afterwards too. But overall, if he technically did have Beth kill the other doctor, which I'm pretty sure is what happened, that's not really being a bad person if you ask me. Because in a zombie apocalypse, you do anything you can to survive. I'm pretty sure that the main leader, cop, Dawn, I think it's her name, who has a horrible OCD, from what I can tell, she probably would have killed him if the other doctor survived. Simple as that from how much I hate the cops. So the doctor, him being the good guy, that's a definite positive to me. It's like I said, you do anything you can to survive in a zombie apocalypse, from killing people, whatever. And it's justified there, too, for him to save his own life. I mean, really. And here comes my bad guy point of view. Well, actually, before I do that, sorry for the pause, but I was going to say something and I don't remember, but now I actually do remember. Back to the good guys, you can really tell Noah and Beth are actually good guys. Beth, you already knew, but Noah too, because they was basically helping each other escape the hospital from the indentured servitude, which I still find that stupid, especially that being racist a little bit, but you know. But here's what I can tell too from the bad guys, and the bad guys in this episode being the cops. Now here's basically, I have it written down as they basically force the people they take in to pay them back, which basically is indentured servitude or slavery, whatever you want to call it. I say indentured servitude. But here's the way I see that is because basically, as Beth said, the more I take, the more I owe. And the way that shows in this episode, that's actually probably true. It's ridiculous how the cops run. Especially, I'm going to say, not Meg, but Dawn. If that's not her name, I'm sorry, I forget her name. Even though I just watched the episode, but basically she punches Beth, basically sucker punches Beth for no reason, and all that. And no offense, and Dawn really, while I'm talking tonight, there's a live poll that said, is she a better leader than Gareth? And we all know what happened to Gareth. He's finally dead, thank God, but she's not. Definitely not a better leader. Because Gareth, and this actually go for the governor too, actually. Definitely not better than the governor either, because like I said last episode, the governor was, yeah, he had a way with words that could persuade people to do whatever he wanted them to. And he was really probably one of the more powerful villains in the series. But then you have Gareth, and I didn't touch on this last episode, but Gareth was more orderly than anybody too. Well, other than the governor. He was really more orderly than Dawn, because if I'm saying her name wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure that's her name, but Just my point taken though is he wasn't technically probably a leader in the beginning. He just came up and became the leader. Gareth wasn't a natural leader. Dawn, on the other hand, yeah. I understand she was a cop, and I think she was one of the chiefs, I think. I'm pretty sure the other guy was chief. And I'll touch on that guy later. I don't know his name. She's just crazy, if you ask me. I hate to get into the political aspect here too, but cops. Symbols that the justice system with the cop deal is just corrupted. Especially when they can get by with so much more than us regular civilians can. Or I say civilians, but you know what I mean. Simple as that, she was not a better leader than anything. She was a horrible leader, because the fact is she beats people and all that shit. I mean, yeah. The governor, at least, actually was more humane when it came to his own people. Same thing with even Gareth, who was humane when it came to his own people. But her, fuck that shit. Just a bunch of racist-ass cops. That's why I like to say it, but you know. But from there, though, too, from the milk cop, though, too, even, which I think was another one, the chiefs, or whatever you call them. This is just stupid, what I can tell. He's basically nothing but a rapist, if you ask me. Because basically he forced Beth to suck on the sucker he had, which is actually Beth's in the first place. He stole it. And then on top of that, he was trying to get Beth to do things with him, or he was trying to do things to her. And this, I can barely talk about this without getting pissed off, because every time I see rape stuff, it just, But, basically, I just explode. So, there you go. And on top of that, they're all racist. Like I said, too, so, or at least to me. It's just ridiculous, so. But I'm glad the male cop died. Beth him over having the sucker thing, and fed her to the walker of the one girl, which I'm pretty sure that cop killed the girl. Because, key word there, I'm pretty sure she was black, and the male cop is mostly the racist one. They all were, but still. It's just ridiculous. And then on top of that, though, they stopped Beth from escaping after Noah got out. And Noah, him not turning back was actually a good thing. I can tell there's a glimpse there that he wanted to, but he just didn't. And Beth made him smile, and Beth actually glad he got out. Simple as that. But that scene too, but enough on the bad guys. I can rant on about this forever. That scene too was actually pretty badass. You got Beth with the guns and the slow-mo and the lighting. Really was actually pretty good. I will say that. Especially her just shooting the walkers. That was actually pretty fun. Or at least I think she was shooting them. But the cops coming out and stopping her escape, that really tells that they really... That the cops there are corrupt. Or I say cops, but technically they're not cops anymore, but they act like they are. It's just ridiculous. I can talk about them forever, but again, there's no point. But actually, this actually lasts longer than I thought it would, probably because I'm rambling. And I know I said to raise this thing so many times, but it's probably true. But anyway, rockers, again, down in the description, my Facebook page, like it. My Twitter, follow if you want to. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Especially subscribe if you haven't already. And like and comment on this video if you actually enjoy it. And again, if I can't do any more Walking Dead videos for a while, it's because AMC and DirecTV have some kind of issue with each other right now. And again, if something does actually happen where I can't watch it, I might have to wait to do the rest of my reviews on whenever they come on Netflix. Hopefully it doesn't happen so I can keep pumping these out for you guys. And before I leave you guys, if I had to rate this episode, I give it probably... Shit. This thing's leaking. I'm sorry for drinking, but probably end up giving it... I want to say a 4 out of 5 stars, but really... I'll probably get about a 4.3 out of 5 stars. Just because I'm biased a little bit, but still, it's actually good. But, until next time, rockers, live free and rock!